Sup my dudes, Valkyrja, and today I have played Tower of Fantasy for quite a while now. I think anywhere from 12 to 14 hours, I don't know exact playtime, but because I've streamed basically the entire time, I can guesstimate it somewhere between, well, more like 12 to 16, because I have about 2 hours of time recorded, and I streamed 4 hours last night, and another 7 hours today, and basically you can tell I put a lot of time into this game. So I want to answer the thing that is basically on everyone's mind, is how does this game stack up to Genshin Impact as my first Tower of Fantasy video. It stacks up pretty well, to be honest. There are some things that Tower of Fantasy just does very poorly that Genshin excels at, while in the exact opposite sense, there are things that Tower of Fantasy does very, very, very well that Genshin is terrible at. So a good experience, or good thing that tomorrow I'm going to talk about like positives and negatives of this game, like good and bad, but I just want to make direct comparisons in today's video for the sake of everybody who's on the fence of trying it. It is very similar to Genshin in the fact that most of your time spent is spent exploring, walking around the open world, but the one main difference as far as the actual exploration goes is the amount of mobility options you actually have in this game. Your dash is tied to its own meter, so you have an essential Xiao skill button that you can hit on cooldown about once every couple seconds. You have a jetpack that takes you super high into the air. You have this little gun that spawns in like a little platform. So you have like a Zhongli pillar on demand or an Albedo elevator. You basically have a lot of Genshin character skills built into the base game that are not gacha reliant whatsoever. And then you also have a vehicle that you can also ride around if you want to get around a little bit faster, because as far as scale goes, you are slightly small compared to how big the world is. The world is actually quite large in this game. You can see we're basically on Tutorial Island. I got here, and you can actually go all over the place. Just be prepared to die, because there's like this radiation thing that takes you down. You can see my exploration progress here. A lot of the exploration time gated. I'll get into it tomorrow. I don't want to make this video too long. I want to make mostly direct comparisons to Genshin. But the one place where this game falls short, and the biggest negative I have for it, and the one thing that Genshin super excels at, is the story. A lot of the animations in this game, now granted I play on the absolute lowest settings because my laptop can barely run the game and stream at the same time. I can run the game fine if I'm not streaming, but streaming takes a lot. I play on the absolute lowest settings, so graphically this game can look pretty if you have a beast computer, but you're probably going to be playing on low settings just because you want the game to run better. So I think Genshin gets the advantage as far as looks go. I think Genshin is a much better looking game, and then also whenever it comes to story, Genshin blows this game out of the water. The story for this game is pretty bad. It's pretty stereotypical. It's something that you're going to see a lot of in like any anime you watch, but the game itself is pretty nice. I do enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the game. I enjoy, most importantly, the combat, and as I mentioned before, the mobility. The mobility in this game is very nice in the way it flows in combat. Combat is very, very similar to Honkai Impact's combat, and that stuff is really, really good. To me, it's a really nice combat system where you're constantly swapping between your weapon. You have each weapon tied to a button between Q, E, and R. Each weapon has a one skill that you can pop, and you can see the little chakram go nuts. There is lots of stuff that all the weapons can do. Each weapon functions differently, has different charge attacks. You have air combos you can do. You got air attacks, specific air attacks that you can do, double jump into plunge. There's all sorts of combos you can do with different weapons, different things, different setups. Each weapon does different things. It's really, really, really complicated, and it seems to be like really deep and really skill-based. Now, as you guys know, in this game, I'm going to be completely free to play. So as far as that translates over into where this game's going to have PvP, and yes, it will, I don't know. I don't know if the PvP is going to be a massive whale fest, or I'm going to be able to outskill people. We will find out together, I'll tell you that much. But that's basically the main differences, is the fact that this game excels in gameplay in ways that Genshin fails. It also has world bosses that you want to continuously grind. It also has regular mobs that drop very rare items, so you can build things like vehicles, like mounts, very similar to World of Warcraft. It has a raid mode, which is joint operation, where you go against a bunch of bosses as a raid and you have to work together as a team. It is really, really cool in the fact that it has all these things we've asked for in Genshin for a long time but never got. It's like somebody from the Tower Fantasy team essentially looked at Genshin, looked at the common complaints, and said, what if I made a game similar to Genshin that had these issues people wanted fixed? That's essentially Tower Fantasy. I think if you enjoy Genshin, and if you complain about the same things I've always complained about in Genshin, you will love Tower Fantasy, and it'll be a nice alternative to pick up during one of Genshin's downtimes, because as we've established many times, Genshin is a story-based, exploration-based game, to the point where you're not going to really be playing it a ton. I mean, you can run around and collect berries and flowers and mint every day, or you could just pick up a secondary game that's very similar that wants you to play it on a daily basis and wants you to actually engage in the combat mechanics of the game itself. But that's basically it. I don't want to make this game too long. Those are the main comparisons that you have. I think Genshin's a prettier game with a better story, while I think Tower Fantasy has much better combat mechanics, mobility, and a lot of things that make me want to play the game more than Genshin actually does. I'm not saying Genshin has a bad combat system. I actually thoroughly enjoy it. It's very fast, quick swap, but the gameplay is not difficult enough to facilitate any type of strategy whatsoever. Whereas even if this game ends up being easy, it's going to have PvP, which is going to reward you for being good at the game. That's just how it works. Either that or it's going to be a whale off. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't got to participate in it yet. I don't know if it balances stats. I don't know how it's going to work, but I will find out, and I will make a video about it whenever it comes out. But expect more Tower Fantasy videos coming from me. If you guys want guides or anything, let me know. Tomorrow I'm going to probably do a video about the things I really like about this game, which is going to be a little bit of a repetitive part of this video, but there's going to be other things I really want to talk about that I think this game is doing a very poor job of. There are some things this game just does not do a good job of, and I do want to talk about those. But I do want to talk about, you know, what I like and dislike about this game. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about Tower Fantasy in the comment section below. This video was just a direct comparison to Genshin, because I know a lot of you guys are really curious. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.